This is the shoe that changed the running world forever. And since its inception, it has remained at the very top of super shoe roster. Despite other shoe brands and models catching up, it has still remained a prominent figure in every running event till date. It has a unique blend of cushion, lightweight, and bounce that is difficult to beat. For over 18 months, this has been the lightest running shoe in my collection. Until I got this, the BMAI Carbon 3. For the first time in over a year, I ran in a shoe that is lighter than the Vaporfly 3. In this video, I will be comparing their performance totally on all fronts and see who emerges the winner, the OG Vaporfly 3 or the new BMAI Carbon 3. I'm still your man, Dr. CY, the running dog. The only guy that uses his medical background and his running experience to give you the most incisive running shoe reviews. I'm just a casual runner reviewing shoes for casual runners like myself. The goal of my channel has always been spending less, getting the best. Both of these shoes are the same size, US size 11. The Vaporfly 3 weighs 210 grams, while the BMI Carbon 3 weighs an even 200 grams. So the Carbon 3 is 10 grams lighter than the Vaporfly 3. So between the upper of these two shoes, there's really nothing to choose. Both are fantastic, both are light, both are comfortable. For me, I will say that for the upper, the Nike narrowly nicks it with the offset position of the lace cage as well as the thicker tongue. So now, let's talk cushioning. The midsole in the Vaporfly is powered by supercritical P-bar, while in the BMI Carbon 3, you have the supercritical TPU. The stack height for the Vaporfly is said to be 40 millimeters in the heel with an 8 millimeter drop, so you have 40-32. Whereas this one has 34 millimeters with a 4.5 millimeter drop. But the irony is that I put this on one foot and put this on the other. There was no height difference. They are approximately the same height. Probably the measurement in this is excluding the insole and outsole, or maybe the 40 millimeter listed in this is not accurate. If you touch them, you will still notice that the Nike is softer. So the cushion is better in the Vaporfly than the BMI Carbon 3. This one is pretty soft and comfortable, but comparing with the Vaporfly, the BMI gives a firmer ride. In terms of cushioning, the Vaporfly is the clear winner here. Now, if we talk about the response also, the Zoom X from the Vaporfly gave a faster takeoff. This is totally very responsive, but definitely this was more responsive. To make this video, I had to go and run in these two shoes in succession. I was doing 2 kilometer intervals. I do 2 kilometers in this, I changed, do 2 kilometers in this. 6 kilometers was in the Vaporfly and 6 kilometers was in the BMI Carbon 3. So in terms of the midsole, the Vaporfly is more comfortable and slightly more responsive. But this one rode a little firm but lighter. Heel striking, this one was better. Forefoot or midfoot striking, it was easier to run in this because of the lower drop. Now, in terms of underfoot comfort, this one was soft, totally comfortable. My first marathon was in the Vaporfly 3. After 42 kilometers, I was cool and nice. This one, the highest distance I've done in this so far is a 24-kilometer run, which was still pretty comfortable. But I just have a few things to talk about the underfoot feel of this shoe. This shoe has sidewalls from back to front, sort of cupping the foot. Your foot sits inside the midsole. The molding around the feet was better in the BMI Carbon 3. But then, one issue that I had with my BMI Carbon 3, on my left foot, there was one place that I was having an impingement problem. Just at the beginning of the arch here. That's the only thing that took away the 100% I would have given for the comfort of these shoes. I don't know whether it is in all the other shoes because the right foot didn't have any problem. It happened only on my left foot. I will say that for the comfort level, the Nike still wins again. So now let's talk about the overall ride. This was super smooth, very comfortable, very bouncy. This was also very good. Not as responsive as this, but this felt super light, smooth transitions, good response. But in the end, it was easier for me to run in the Vaporfly than in the BMI Carbon 3. This is lighter by 10 grams for sure, but the extra bounce in the Vaporfly kind of neutralized that. I still felt that the perceived effort of running at the same pace was less in the Vaporfly. If we look at the outsole, I've run 2 marathons in my Vaporfly 3 and this shoe now is about 220 kilometers. But if you look at the outsole, it has gotten some stress in the heel area here, but not really bad, still pretty cool. But then this one is still at 76 kilometers. It is also totally untouched. Even the designs on this outsole are not even worn yet. So I believe that this one is also fantastic. So for the outsole, I can't really judge because their distance in the two shoes are not the same. But both shoes are looking very, very durable. This one has more coverage than the Vaporfly. You know, putting everything together, the upper, the midsole, the outsole, the overall comfort over a marathon distance, I will say that the Nike still nicks it. So now let's talk about another issue, which is the price. Believe it or not, I bought the Vaporfly at a discount for 1,150 Saudi Riyal, and that's approximately 306 US dollars. Whereas for the BMI Carbon 3, I bought this for 577 Saudi Riyal, approximately 153 US dollars. So you see where I'm going with this. From my comparison so far, this is almost better on all rounds. But then if you compare the price, you will see that this one is costing like twice the price of this. So for me to even compare this to this is a big achievement for the BMI Carbon 3. That says a lot about its value for money. Because despite the fact that this is better, the performance difference is not double. If I give this one 97%, I'm going to give this one like 90%. You know, whereas in price it is like 150. You see that that's a huge achievement from the BMI Carbon 3. You know, despite the fact that this slightly ages this. So when you compare the price that I invested in this with what I invested in this, you will see that we are going for bang for a buck. This one is a winner. If you cannot afford this and you can afford this as a non-competitive runner, you are not missing out on a whole lot. I think that's the summary of what I want to bring out. So that's why I titled this shoe Tesla versus Bird. You know, like the Tesla, of course, definitely more expensive. The Bird gives you similar thing. Probably you may not get everything that you may get from the Tesla, especially in terms of durability, but the price difference is huge. I think that's exactly what is going on here. This one has slightly better on several fronts, but the huge difference in price is a lot, you know. This shoe here is affording a lot of runners the chance to get the joy of running in an elite shoe. It's not everybody that can cough out like $306 to buy a pair of running shoes. But a lot of people can pay $153 to get a pair of running shoes that can give them almost exactly what they can get in a shoe like this. I think that's the summary of the whole thing. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.